Welcome to the Fantasy Football League podcast. I'm your host Aiden, and today I'm joined by my 1-2 rival, TAC1421, also known for still having less points than me, also known as Shroy. So, how are you doing, Shroy?
Doing great. Do I really have less points than you still?
Yeah, overall, barely.
I more than doubled my points, right? From my overall season points.
Yeah, you did. You crushed it. I think you got the second most points in the league this week. So
I did.
Yeah.
I sure did. It's all because, T. Higgins came back. We had 2 weeks off of no T. Higgins, and then he's here now. Yeah. He's ready to compete.
It's the moral support for Joe Burrow that really pushed you through.
He is not only the franchise tag of the Bengals, he's also my franchise tag.
Ah, I see.
But I'd probably pay him more than...
You probably pay him more.
I would if I could. Yeah.
Just to keep him on your
Pay
lineup.
the man.
We should do that. Like, you put down $100 and then you get to keep T. Higgins next year.
You mean
just like $100 for the winner of the
league?
Yeah, except only you get to keep a player.
Only I get to keep
only you, and it's only T. Higgins.
What if your buy-in for next year is just like you're buying in for a spot in the league next year, but you're also buying a player of your choice that's already on your roster?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, there'd never be any problems with that.
No, clearly no exploiting late round picks.
Yeah, because everyone would definitely pick like a 4th to 6th round draft pick like me and T. Higgins. And never like a first overall pick that they really want on their team.
Oh yeah.
Never.
The first round of the draft would be very fun. Still.
Anyways, so week 3.
Yeah, anyway. So week 3. I guess I should do the intro. So
okay.
This podcast, if you haven't listened before, covers the coveted Fantasy Football League, our fantasy football league with 10 of our friends. As we go through the year and ultimately find out who is worthy of the crown, we will have trials and tribulations that will all be covered here. So strap in and spread those eyeballs, because you're about to witness the best fantasy football coverage you've ever seen. Last week was week 3. So let's go over it. We played.
I think best coverage is maybe a little bit of a stretch, but...
Yeah, I mean, you are on this week, so I maybe should redact that statement this week. But yeah, we played, and that's it. We talked about our matchup.
We did play. And I was called out at the end of the last episode. And 1520, a.k.a. Aiden, was like, yo, Troy, you're scared. I'm like, yeah, I'm scared. Come at me. And we showed up to the big dance. Let me go over my lineup real quick. Joe Burrow, 28.36 points. Jonathan Taylor, mascot of the team, Taylor, 29.5 points. Jordan Mason, you need to give him the ball more. And that's the reason why they lost. 10.8 points. Amari Cooper finally shows up. 27.6 points. And welcome back to the NFL. T. Higgins making his debut. Wasn't his fault the Bengals lost.
100 points in moral support.
6.9 points in moral support. Yeah, but he played better than his point value. He had some tough catches, and he got... Yeah, it was tough. It was tough to watch that game. We're not going to talk about that at all. Travis Kelce is a bum, and he got 7 points, and I'm so glad that I picked him on my team. Tyler Lockett, 9.6 points. He was questionable for the game, but he showed up in moral support, even though he didn't do as good as his comrade, wide receiver 1. DK Metcalf, forgot his name for a second. Terry McLaurin.
I like that nickname. That's a great nickname.
He hadn't been doing good all year, because he's like, yo, I'm just giving my quarterback some time to jive with me. And he shows up with 23 points, 4 for 6, 100 yards, 1 touchdown.
Now, my question for you is, did you accidentally pronounce McLaurin wrong, or did you intentionally come up with a fire nickname for McLaurin?
Don't do anything by accident.
Well, it was funny because you were essentially up, and I had like a chance to come back because I had Jaden Daniels and Dalton Kincaid on Monday night, and I was down by 10, but you had Burrow, you had Higgins, and then you decided to play McLaurin over Zach Moss.
I originally had Zach Moss on my lineup, but and it was looking like a pretty good move until Zach Moss got a late touchdown in the game.
Yeah. And then it was looking like a bad move until the last 5 seconds of the game where McLaurin got 10 points on one play.
No, his touchdown came before Moss's touchdown.
No, it came after.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought Moss had more points most of the game.
I was watching the game.
Oh, well, maybe I'm wrong. But Moss's last touchdown. But
you are wrong.
McLaurin did have less points than him because of the bonus and the long catch. So McLaurin ended with 23 because he got the 100-yard bonus, the touchdown, and it was like a 30-yard catch, right? So it was like...
Zach Moss scored the final touchdown for the Bengals, and then they went for an onside kick and didn't get it.
Yeah, but I'm talking the second to last touchdown was the Terry McLaurin one. So... Before the second to last touchdown, Moss had more points.
Maybe by a little bit, but it was
close. It was like a little. But that was my thing was like, it was looking like Moss was going to score more, and then it was like, nope, Terry McLaurin beats it out. And then it doesn't matter because Moss scores too.
Okay, so the entire reason why I put him in was because I recognized that you had Daniels.
Which was smart, and it worked out.
So I'm like, all right, if... I might as well handcuff him a little bit. If you didn't have Daniels, I probably would have kept Moss in, and then I'm only losing 2.3 points, but from the two combined. But
it didn't really matter, but like it was a good call anyway, and I think it was like a smart thing to do because I had Daniels. Like because you were up by 10, it was like the safe move.
Can we just get that in, I guess this is recorded, but I just want to, it was a smart move.
It's a smart move. You want that soundbite?
Get that on repeat.
All right. I'll do that for next week. I'll pull that.
It was a smart move. Yeah.
Well, I think your team just outplayed me. You outplayed me, clearly. I was worried that me not starting Rome Odunze was gonna kill me because I had Rome Odunze on my bench, and I started Robinson and Mooney over him. So I was worried that was gonna matter, but it didn't because you just scored the second most points in the league and got 142 points, which is insane.
It's all right. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. I expect highly of my team.
Now that your total points scored is 257. How do you feel scoring more points than you did in week 1 and 2?
Yeah, it was funny. So I only had 2 players play in the 10 o'clock Pacific time game, and that was Jonathan Taylor. That's his name, right? His first name is Jonathan, right? Why am I tripping? As well as Cooper, I think.
Gosh.
I think
it was.
I think those were the only 2 players I had playing at that time.
And I had Jalen Warren.
But the combination of the 2 outscored my entire points I had week 1. So yeah.
Well, I mean, your team finally went off. It looks like Burrow is back, even though the defense isn't back, which I know hurts you more. But
it's rough.
Yeah, but I mean, it's hard to know because I don't know if you saw this, but it's the first time in the Super Bowl era that a team like had no punts and no turnovers in 2 weeks in a row, and that was the Commanders. So maybe they're just good.
Well, I know in that particular game, neither team forced a punt or a turnover.
Yeah, that too. I think
So-
those two things happened, which is crazy.
I mean, it was tough to watch as a Bengals fan.
Yeah.
I think the real question is, why is Troy a Bengals fan? And I think that'd be a longer podcast than we have time for. So I think we should probably just move on to the next matchup.
To the next matchup.
So
I
we
think
have
that's
Team
fair.
Totally Offensive versus Concepts of a Plan.
Yes, and I don't know if you saw how close this game was last night, but it was so freaking close. Because
Was anyone playing from either person?
yes, Jamar Chase. my mom's opponent had Jamar Chase. And
but they still lost.
they still lost by 5 points with Jamar Chase.
32.8. So he needed 30.
I guess just a touchdown at the end.
he
Like
needed
the one from the
37
one.
points from Chase to win. Is that right?
Yeah,
Did I do the math
yeah,
right?
I think you did the math right.
Something around
That's
there.
hilarious.
38, 37, something like that.
Yeah.
And he got 32.
And the funny thing is that me and my mom did like a best ball lineup, and we have Burrow, Chase, and Higgins on the team, and we were like rooting for the Bengals all night. And then her matchup got close, and it was like we got a ton of points, but it was the perfect amount for her not to lose still. So it was like, it sucks for her opponent, but she was happy like ultimately all around.
Having. Oh, so which is one of the two teams your mom?
Yeah, my mom is totally offensive.
Okay.
So she did win her first game.
Hey, same here. I won my first
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
But I got
wins all
140
around
points,
for everyone.
So, you know.
There's no 0-2 teams left, correct? Oh,
This
wait.
is. I mean, it's tough to see. Godert. How do you say his name?
Oh,
Philly
Goddard.
guy?
Yeah, Goddard.
10 for 11. He got 10 receptions for 170 yards.
Was that on?
Just-
that was on his bench.
Just sitting on the bench there.
Ooh. Yeah, and Bowers had his like first not great game too. Ooh, that stings. I didn't even notice that.
And it's like Patrick Mahomes could easily have like more points than what they had, and sure,
Yeah.
like Murray on the opposite end, like Murray could have had more, and I mean Chase doing that, like I mean I expected it. Can we for a second talk about the fact that Patty had P Ryan on her?
Yeah, Samaje Perine in her starting lineup.
That should never be on anyone's lineup.
Well,
I'm just,
to be fair, she did have Pacheco, and I did roast her a little bit last week for picking up Perine over the warhorse Carson Steele. So she was tracking it all week, and sadly, Perine did score less than Carson Steele. Well, sadly for
Pirine-
her, not
I mean,
for
you can.
Jen.
P Ryan should never be on anyone's. I don't care how deep of a fantasy league you have. If you take one advice from this podcast, just don't have P Ryan on your team. Anyone.
Well, hopefully my mom's listening, and she'll make that change. And this is coming from a lifelong Bengals fan who's had to deal with P. Ryan stealing things from Joe Mixon in the Super Bowl. So, yeah. This is an expert on P. Ryan, all right?
Yes.
So you better
Expert
listen.
P Ryan.
Expert P. Ryan. So, yeah, I mean, crazy matchup. That one was the closest one. And it was also the only winner that I scored more points than. So if I did end up playing her, I had a chance to win, essentially.
That is an interesting thing sometimes about like fantasy and how you're playing against another person. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter necessarily what you score in accordance to the other 10 members in the league. It just kind of matters how you play against that one person.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which my week 1 and 2 opponents got lucky that they had to play me. But I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say you got unlucky playing me because I'm looking here and you scored. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, most of the
6
people.
So you scored better than like half of the.
Yeah.
League. So.
But barely. Like, I'm not too mad
yeah.
about the matchup, I would have had to get lucky to win.
Oh, you should be mad because you lost to me.
I was noticing it though. Like, I don't know if you noticed this, but last week, 2 of the 2-0 teams, both their wins were against us.
Yes,
so
I did.
So it's like the most fraudulent 2-0 teams ever, which we'll talk about because they played this week as well. But I guess in the standings, I don't know if you noticed, but Rage Against Weirdos, he still has the most points, but he's 2-1 now because he lost to my mom. So he's in 3rd place, and my mom dropped down to 7th place. Or sorry, went up to 7th place because she won her first game.
And I won my first game. I only went up to 12th to 10th.
And I went down from.
No, you said the same.
To 11. Yeah, why does it say down 3?
I don't know. Weren't you in 11th anyways?
I wasn't. Yeah, you're right. I was in 11th. I said the same. So I don't know why it says down 3. Yeah, I think that must be from 2 weeks ago or something.
No idea. I don't know what you're looking at.
No idea. No clue. But yeah, I'm in 11th. So you're still 10th. I'm 11th. But now you're 1 above me. So that's what really matters.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I guess that was the closest matchup this week. So the rest were kind of all blowouts. So I don't know if you noticed that, but they were all 40-point wins. So we can just go straight on to the next one, which was Ricknolle versus Mmcgrath. And this was the 2 lower scoring teams that played against us and barely squeaked out wins. So they were both 2-0. But Rick's team actually scored a ton of points this week, an insane amount. I think he's the highest scoring one, right? Did he beat you out?
Yep.
Yeah, he did.
A little less than 5.
4.5. So not crazy, but it was really just Barkley and Prescott. I mean, no one else really did amazing. I think you had 3 or 4 players with around 30, right? Was that
me? I don't know. I had a couple people in their 20s. No, I don't think I had anyone in their 30s.
Yeah, I guess not in the 30, but you had 3 around there.
And it's also crazy. Their backup is Purdy, and Purdy had 25. So it's
oh yeah,
pretty nice. Knowing if they accidentally, or not accidentally, but if they decide to swap Purdy for Prescott, they still would have won.
Yeah. Yeah, there were some injuries, I guess, but
yeah, it's crazy. I never understand how people are able to pick the most optimal lineup. I feel like I always have someone on my bench that's outscored someone on my lineup somehow.
Oh yeah, me too. Especially when you have I guess if your bench sucks, that's the reason you wouldn't do that. But
sure.
I mean, I guess for his bench, he does have some good people on his bench though. So definitely, he actually benched Rachaad White, which I think is it's a bold move, but it paid off. Actually, yeah, did it? I don't know. Kind of, a little bit. But I think that was a good move, in theory. Rachaad White hasn't been great, so.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think still 2 pretty decent rosters.
Yeah. Even though Mmcgrath has...
just had a bunch of wide receivers that just didn't really, do too much this week.
Yeah, and also Laporta got hurt, I think, so.
Garrett Wilson, first touchdown with Rodgers.
Oh, yeah. And it was a cool touchdown, yeah. It was a good throw.
I saw a stat, which it at first, it didn't surprise me, but also kind of surprised me, where Wilson's the first round draft pick to receive a touchdown pass from Rodgers.
Wow. Oh. I didn't realize that.
But I mean, you think about all the good Adams. Players that Rodgers has thrown a touchdown pass in his career.
And none were first round picks.
Go back as far as Donald Driver. I don't know which round he was drafted in, but he had a solid career. And
yeah, and same with
obviously,
Adams.
Adams and I mean, there's a flurry and crazy amount of talent that he's played with over the years. But he's also made those guys better too. But I mean, I thought Devontae Adams was a first-round pick. I didn't realize that he's not because he's just
he must be like a second round or something.
he's just been a stud his entire career.
Yeah, he's always been a beast. And I guess Rodgers never threw a pass to Jordan Love, so.
Yeah. So that was kind of just like a cool stat.
No, that was a good one. I didn't know that, so awesome. Well, I guess we can move on to the next matchup, which was another blowout with Naples versus Pawninq. And I just feel bad for Naples still because it just sucks to lose McCaffrey, you know? Like, and also not having Chubb or Hollywood Brown now is just, I don't know. I just feel like you got to get really lucky. And then also to have Mark Andrews get 0 points is like, oh my God, that's so brutal. Like, look at their team.
Your backup tight end on your bench get 25.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. And the sad thing is that wouldn't have even mattered, but it's like,
yeah,
it just hurts to have all these players.
But at least you have Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry looks good.
He does. So there you go. And yeah, I was gonna try to compliment another player, DJ Moore. There we go. First.
Just
Derrick Henry. All right, yeah, we'll just stick with Derrick Henry.
You have Derrick Henry.
You have Derrick Henry, and maybe McCaffrey coming back, hopefully in a couple weeks. Even though he just went to Europe to get a second opinion, so.
And I'm okay with him staying out as long as he. McCaffrey, if you want to sit out the entire rest of the season, that's okay, bud.
All right, Jordan Mason owner. Hey, I'm down for it too, though. Because I also have Jordan Mason a lot. So, but Pawninq, I mean the big one is the big one is Neighbors. Neighbors is just insane. But I mean, also Charbonnet is. I don't know. I'm a little worried about Charbonnet when Walker comes back.
A bunch of players that sound like wines.
Yeah, that's true. Charbonnet, Neighbors,
Lamb, even lamb. Like, would you like some lamb with your Charbonnet?
Would you like some A-Chain with your? But yeah, I mean, a good scoring week when some of your players didn't even do well. Like A-Chan didn't even do well. Jacobs didn't do well. Lamb didn't do well, and he still scored 138. So I think he's a really scary lineup to go
also
against.
has two running backs that I always get confused for one another. That's Akers and Eckler.
Akers and Eckler.
just two guys, two running backs I always confuse for one another. So
yeah, checks out.
Might as well just have both of them.
Yeah, might as well. You can just flip a coin, decide which one you want to put in.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, a really, really good team. Like, the depth is crazy on this team.
No, it's pretty good.
So we'll see what happens with their team, but they're in 4th place now. I guess I forgot to go over the.
I think it's kind of sad. Like, I think anyone that's associated on the Miami lineup, like their stocks are just like tanking right now.
Oh yeah.
So
it's
like
sad.
I dropped. I mean, last week going into this week 3, I dropped Tua, and then I'm probably gonna drop the backup running back that I have.
Oh, do you have Mostert?
Yeah, I have Mostert. I just don't see him ever doing good.
Yeah.
Like, he's injured right now, and like, even if he came back, like, he's second string, and I just don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to know, like, because I know A-Chan was still getting like catches last week, but this week was just miserable.
Did you know? Another stat. I'm just full of stats here.
Full
on
of
the podcast
stats
today.
Look at you.
Crazy. I just look at too much Instagram throughout the day. Is what it is, and just see random stuff. But the Miami Dolphins, only team so far this year that has led 0 seconds so far.
Gosh. That's crazy.
Because their only win, they have a win. There's 3 0-3 teams. The Bengals being one of or maybe there's 4. There's 3 or 4, whatever. But the Dolphins, the win they had was a like walk-off field goal essentially, right? Where it was like a last second time coming off the clock, kick the field goal. So
Oh,
and then
that's so
they
funny.
won. That's the only time they were winning the entire game, winning 0-0-0-0. So doesn't count as any seconds. So yeah, it's kind of funny. So yeah, I mean Dolphins.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Two things. So yeah, P Ryan, get rid of him. Anyone don't own P Ryan, and then Dolphins players. You might want to
Get rid of him too?
second think. Even like anyone, like any Dolphins player, like what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
You know, like, who's
I
gonna
mean,
throw
I
them?
agree.
Like,
I don't.
like,
I don't even know.
how are they gonna score points?
Yeah. I have no clue. I've no Like I don't even have confidence in Tyreek, but I feel like you got to play him.
Quarterback, like
Yeah, and Waddle. I'm benching Waddle. Yeah, maybe Waddle. I don't even know. I feel like you have to play Tyreek, but like,
do you?
I'm not happy about it.
Who has
I don't know.
Tyreek? Let's find. I mean, I
Who
haven't
has
seen him in
Tyreek?
the
Is
lineup yet.
it? Yeah, it's gonna be one of the later ones probably.
Oh, that'd be such a good segue if it was the next team. It's not though.
It's not though.
But going into the next matchup, this person has Waddle. And they lost.
They do. They do. Yeah.
K Money,
KMoneyTheRichOG. the Rich OG.
who is 2-1, wins against. You say the name because I.
Brookezylaphone.
Yes, that.
Who's going to be on the podcast next week? Probably. We'll see.
Okay.
She's going to hop on one of them. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a lot of people want to hop on. You know.
Oh, all the people.
All the people.
But none of them can do as good of a job as Tag 1421.
I mean, maybe Brooke comes with a bunch of stats next week. Maybe she'll like have just like an encyclopedia of stats.
Bring on the stats.
Bring on the stats. You got to get the scrolling on, what is it, Instagram?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Instagram, it was a really funny picture of so K Money the Rich has Stroud.
Oh yeah, Stroud. Yeah.
And there was a funny picture of him like last week patting the Chicago quarterback, whatever his name is.
Oh yeah,
like trying to pump him up, being like, "Yeah, you're gonna be great in this league." And then this week it was the Vikings guy, whatever,
Darnold,
Darnold, doing the same thing to him.
It's so funny.
it's like,
it's hilarious. I do find it funny that Darnold was doing it to Stroud though, because Darnold has like had no success until this year.
yeah.
But I don't know. I love it. I'm a huge Darnold fan this year because I just think it's so funny that he's like finally doing well, and I don't know. I have him in a couple places, so it's exciting. I'm starting him over Mahomes in my dynasty league. So yeah, that's where we've gotten. Because all these quarterbacks are not doing good, including Richardson and Stroud in this matchup. So yeah, it's a tough life for some of these QBs, except ours. You know, ours did really well. But
yeah, you know. Yeah. So Waddle, actually, honestly, did better than I thought he would. Four receptions for 26 yards. I would take it. I honestly
better
would
than
take
you
the under
thought.
on both those stats, but.
Well, I'm gonna have to bet on Waddle's under next week for you, on just for your sake, because you can no longer do pick six.
Both these people, both of their benched quarterbacks did better than their starting quarterbacks.
Oh yeah, I just noticed that too.
Yeah,
I
think.
Yeah, it was a blowout still.
I don't know. That's a tough one. If I would have played Rodgers because Minnesota's kind of given up a decent amount of points.
Yeah,
New England defense has looked okay, so I can understand the thought process. They still won regardless, but
yeah,
I can understand the thought process there of wanting to play Stroud over Rodgers.
Yeah, I guess it didn't end up mattering.
Everything else kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Every other play, the rest of his lineup is optimal.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if they would have if they played Rodgers, would they have also played Watson on their lineup?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, maybe they saved some points. Maybe they got more points.
They could have actually optimally gotten more by getting less is more. Charlotte Ultra.
Yeah, even though they're not in the same team, so anymore.
Oh, this is true. I'm thinking about a couple of years back. Yes, you're right.
But I do understand what you were saying because in my
thought
head for a
process is
second
there,
it
just
also
like how
clicked. I was like,
just like how I drafted a guy that was out for the season. I knew that player
You knew
was the backup running back for the
Niners, yeah.
for the Niners. So
Yeah, so Mason clearly was. It's funny because I was thinking about picking up Mason, but I was gonna wait until right before their game, and
Nah,
you
man, you
got
gotta
him,
get him
man.
right away.
I should have. I know I shouldn't have done it. I should have picked
I
him up earlier.
drafted him in like the 12th round.
Yeah,
Like that was the sad part.
it was so funny though.
All right, moving on. We're not
Moving
talking about
on.
the draft. We already
Yeah, we
talked about
already.
the draft. Actually, I didn't, but you did. So, no one
But
cares.
yeah, I guess both of them are still solid teams. Brookezylaphone in ninth now, though, which definitely
Debatable.
Debatable. KMoney's team in fifth. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, having Jefferson is really good.
Yeah,
He's a solid
He's
player.
so good this year.
Montgomery, I feel, is always kind of like hit or miss.
Yeah, ETN
They
too.
obviously did good this week. I don't know who Olave is. I've never heard of this person.
Oh, Olave.
before. Yeah.
Come on.
Is he the number one target for the?
Yeah, he's the Saints' number one target.
Tells you how much I know about the Saints.
Yep. It's he came out the same year as Drake London and Garrett Wilson. So it's like all three of those wide receivers are like they were like back of the first round, beginning of the
Okay.
second round picks.
Fair.
Yeah. But yeah, he's pretty good. I mean, this was his first good week this year, but
Which is weird because the Saints have been rolling except for this week.
yeah, exactly.
But we need to get into my favorite matchup besides ours. The final
Plot twist
matchup.
surprise segment. TAC 1421's guaranteed prop bets.
My guaranteed prop bets? Okay,
Yep,
let's do
your
it.
guaranteed prop bets. So, I did this last week with my mom,
Yeah.
and I picked 3 players on her team, and
Okay.
she picked the prop bets, and she got all 3 wrong. So,
Cool.
you got to step it up this week and get
Probably
one
won't.
right. So, I pick players on your team. So,
My team,
yeah. So the first one is Joe Burrow.
under.
Over under 265 and a half passing yards, and you picked under. Okay. The next one is
Under.
Jordan Mason. Over under 84 and a half rushing yards. And
Who are they playing? Sorry, no. Let's actually be serious about this one. Who are they playing?
They are, I forget. They're playing as I look it up on my phone. They're playing New England.
Oh, shoot. Is it 84 total yards or 84
Rushing. Only rushing.
rushing? I'm going to take the under 84.
All right, taking the under. And the last one is your
Under.
favorite player, Travis Kelce, over under 44 and a half receiving
Oh,
yards.
definitely under. He's a bum. By the way, if anyone wants to trade for Kelsey, he's a really good player for anyone's lineup.
He will be accepting $5 in fab budget. He's gonna put $5.
What was the first one you said? The Burrow one? How many yards?
It was 265 and a half passing yards.
265, and they are playing the Panthers.
Yep.
I'm actually going to go over on that one and under on
You
the other
gotta.
two.
All right. Locked it in.
I
Put
forgot to
all your
mention at
life
the beginning
savings.
of the podcast that I am going to, in solidarity, I am going to not be watching this week's Bengal game.
In solidarity with Andy Dalton.
I am boycotting the Bengals this week. not be
I
watching the
understand. Just every time it comes up on Red Zone, just like close your eyes.
I don't even have red zone, so
Oh, okay. Well, that was your surprise segment. So
that surprised
lock in-
me.
Put your. I know.
Really
I
surprised. I was
I
shocked.
really yeah. I came out of nowhere with that one.
I wish I was recording visual. Whoa, what? Crazy.
Whoa. I'll just put like the surprise Pikachu face on screen. But yeah, I guess we can get into the last matchup then. And this is your number 1 team versus your number 8 team. And that is JennWeng destroyed Danbledore.
Wow, Jen's in first place.
She's in first place, and she's rolling. Like,
nice
her
job,
team,
Jen.
I mean, to be fair,
49.5 points.
She did play Juwan Jen. Now, do you understand why I was so mad at Brandon Ayuk? Because Brandon Ayuk got less than 10 points.
Gosh.
And
3 touchdowns?
Yeah, they didn't throw to Ayuk. They only threw to Jennings. I was so mad. And then I cursed the Niners, and then they lost.
I know the tight end, whatever his name was hurt, wasn't in this week.
Yeah, and then she also had A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel, and Addison out. So, like, and she also had Chuba Hubbard on her bench.
Well, for the 49ers, they had...
Oh, the Niners. Yeah, Kittle, Deebo.
Kittle was out. Was Deebo out as well?
Deebo was out, yeah.
Wow.
And Ricky Pearsall was out. Not that matters.
Damn.
But yeah, that's why I was so mad at Ayuk only getting 9 points.
49.5 points.
Yeah,
he got more
insane.
points than I got week 1, my entire roster.
Yeah, he got the most points on the week. It was a crazy,
and it has
crazy
Hubbard
game.
on the bench getting 30.9.
And literally, if she, I mean, obviously she wouldn't have played him over Ramondre, but if she did, 160
but
points
then,
again.
Stevenson getting 0.3 and Hubbard getting 30.9.
Yeah, it's crazy. Her team is just so good, like.
But she has
top to
4 people injured right now.
Yeah, and her Hurts didn't have a good game. Like
4 good players injured.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, it's impressive. I'm not I think her team and then Rage Against Machine are the best teams right now in the league.
I don't know. We're gonna.
But we're gonna rock up the we're turning that upside down.
Corner.
Attack is coming for you. I mean, I like it. And then Dan's team, it was really funny. It was like he obviously had Josh Allen Monday night. He had
so many
Brandon
people
Strange.
playing.
He had
So
Coleman,
Tyreek Hill.
Davis.
So both people that had.
Oh, you're right.
I
Miami.
think all 3 people that played Dolphins players lost.
You're right.
So get rid of your Dolphins players now. They are a curse.
Yeah. So really,
Dan, if you
should
trade,
get the MVP
if you
for
want to trade
benching.
Tyreek Hill for, I don't know, let's just say
Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce. I feel like that's a pretty good trade, right?
I mean, Dan loves his tight ends, so
I think he needs some more.
I think he does need a 4th tight end.
Travis Kelce was my 2nd round pick, which was the first pick in the 2nd round, which was my 13th pick overall.
Yeah. How about
I think
this?
He has.
I'll set up this trade right now. He gives you Tyreek Hill and Mike Gesicki, and you give him Travis Kelce.
Ooh.
There you go.
I'll give you Zach Moss.
Oh, there we go. I think it's a perfect trade.
Let's do it, Dan. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, the rough week. It was funny though because Dan was at 1%, and then as
he got all the way up to 4%.
He got up to 4% because Josh Allen was getting all the points, and obviously that kind of went down once they just realized they were up 30-3 or whatever.
It is kind of sometimes fantasy football doesn't show how dominant a player actually was in a game.
Yeah,
because it's pure stat lines.
Allen could have scored 60.
If you told me that Josh Allen had 50 points that game, I would have believed 50 fantasy points. I would have believed you because every time I looked over, he was just throwing a touchdown
or running 15 yards. It was crazy.
6 carries for 44 yards.
Yeah, I guess it's not
23
that much.
23 for 30, but only 263 yards. So
yeah,
I mean 30.9. Don't get me wrong. I would be thrilled if my quarterback gets that any week, right? So it's still a ton of points, but I still think he played better. He had a better game than 30.9. That's saying something.
I mean, like, I think it was 3 running backs had touchdowns, like, on the Bills. Like, it was.
Josh Allen for MVP? Question mark.
I mean, at this point, honestly, I agree with that. So, or we have Jaden Daniels. It's up to you. We'll see. No, I honestly I think Josh Allen deserves it right now because they're just so good. And like the only weeks he doesn't do good in fantasy is when they're like just winning by so much. Like last week, I think they were winning like they destroyed the Dolphins and they're winning by so much. It was like, oh, okay, Josh Allen doesn't have to do anything. So he got like 10 points or whatever. But I mean, I think he's going to be real MVP and fantasy MVP because he's just so good right now.
Yeah, I might be. The Bengals lose to Carolina. I might be a
Bills fan this year.
For the Bills fan this year, yeah, might be a Bills fan this year.
I think that's a smart move. Swap early.
If the Bengals start 0-4,
yeah,
all my stocks going into the Bills.
Yeah, you can just root for them in fantasy then, and then you don't have to worry.
And then maybe Bengals trade T. Higgins to the Bills.
Maybe. I mean, Bills do need a receiver, so.
Whoa, that'd be a crazy plot twist.
I mean, honestly,
T. Higgins,
I could 100%
the guy who
see
killed one of their players on the same
Oh
team.
my gosh. Well, I'll bleep that out. I mean, it is funny though because Damar Hamlin has ended 2 teams' seasons this year. Obviously, Tua last week, but this week he ended the Jags' season. So ended Trevor Lawrence's career as well. So he's 2 weeks in a row. Who do they play next week?
Who do the Bills play next week?
Let's see. Is it? Ooh, it's Baltimore. All right, Ravens are.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Watch out, Ravens.
Yeah. Cool. Are we gonna look at next week matchups and all that stuff?
Yeah, let's do next week matchups real quick.
And look at that. Look who I'm playing next week. Someone who might possibly be on the podcast next week. Too bad you're going to be talking about your loss next week.
Maybe I'll have to bring both of you on. Or like maybe I'll have you in as like a surprise guest. Like just,
do I know this person in real life?
No, she was a old coworker of mine.
Okay, so it's kind of funny that I'm just like trash talking someone.
Yeah, trash talking her. Yeah. Yeah, you haven't met her yet, so. But she is a Packers fan and a Rodgers fan. So.
All right, I'm gonna wear my Aaron Rodgers jersey all week. And then I do. So yeah, I guess just looking at how much time do you want to spend on each matchup for next week?
I don't know. We can go. I don't know how much time you have, but we can.
13 seconds. Okay.
30 seconds. So, we can go pretty quickly.
Kelsey, I might pick up a new tight end. So they're projected 13 points, but I feel like they're going to go down in the realm of like 3. So I might be picking up a new tight end this week.
Yeah, maybe the backup.
I have 2 waiver wire things pending right now, so it's going to drastically change
I have 4
my lineup. So we'll see how that pans out. I need a new tight end, and I'm also not super thrilled about how my wide receivers are doing. So
checks out.
We'll see. See how that works.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be a close matchup. I mean, we got some good matchups for both of you, so yeah, excited.
Yeah. I never really go off of like projected score.
Yeah.
Like I'm projected 6 points more, but like that doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, when Kelsey's getting 5 points a game, it's like.
Yeah, exactly. He's projected 13 every week, and he's like hasn't.
Yeah.
Last week was his best week, and he got 7 points. So.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. It's funny. They're just always
next matchup. You versus Dan.
Yeah, me versus Dan. This one's gonna be.
That should be a fun one.
Yeah, a fun one for me. Hopefully,
it's not too late to trade me Hill.
Yeah, it's not. You do. It looks like you might need a tight end too. So.
Yeah, because Kittle's out, so he needs. Yeah, he definitely needs Kittle and Kelsey.
Yeah.
And Strange.
Smith might be out too. So yeah.
And just he has 4 tight ends on his team.
3 tight ends. Well, he's gonna have 4 when he trades for Kelsey.
Oh right, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but yeah, it is really funny that he has 3 tight ends. I don't know. I'm not sure why he did that, and he drafted Gesicki so early.
I have
but
one.
hey, yeah, he's more wins than me, so
That's true.
we'll see.
That's true.
We'll see what happens next week. I'm not sure what I'm doing with my lineup yet, so I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated. I'll put in the group chat thinking about starting this person. What do you think, Dan? Get in his mind game. Ask him start sit questions.
It's funny how he drafted Davis too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be completely honest. Besides Josh Allen, I don't like Dan's team.
I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat, but I know you don't like Joe Mixon either, so it's like...
Yeah, I don't... I mean, Kittle's great if he's healthy.
Yeah. Smith is good, and I guess that's good, but...
Sure, yeah, you're right. Smith.
He's going to be out, so...
Is he going to be out? Okay, yeah.
Probably. Well, the Eagles had their bye week in week 5, so I'd imagine they might just give him 2 weeks. That's my guess, but I mean, obviously he could want to play, so...
We don't guess on this fantasy podcast, though. We spit facts.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, my bad. My bad. Troy, what's the fact? Is Smith playing or not? Over,
not.
under, playing. He's not. Okay, good.
You heard it first here.
Good to know.
Next matchup?
Next matchup, well, I guess my mom, right? Is that next for you?
Totally offensive versus
yeah.
Ricknolle.
Ricknolle. My mom's actually predicted to win this, but I mean, Ricknolle had his first good week last week. But if you look at the average points, my mom averages more points per game. So she just got pretty unlucky with matchups. So I actually think she's probably the favorite, but I don't know.
I see that P. Ryan's on the bench. Good.
Yeah, maybe she already learned her lesson.
Good, that's good.
Yeah, and I think last week she benched Shakir for P. Ryan, so definitely already swapped that over. not making that mistake again. Yeah, not too much to say. Not crazy. I mean, Saquon Barkley and Marvin Harrison look really good, so that's kind of my favorites. But I don't love having 2 Texans receivers starting. It's kind of
that is interesting. Yeah,
all or nothing.
That is, yeah. That's. We'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, well, an interesting, bold strategy, Cotton.
Bold strategy for sure.
Next matchup is Mmcgrath versus Naples.
If it's possible for both teams to lose, this would be the matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Naples needs his first win.
I'm gonna give a bold statement that both teams are under 80.
I could totally see that. I mean, Jackson plays the Bills, so not going to get 20 probably, and Flowers too. Yeah, that's scary.
I think the winner.
I agree with
the
you.
winner of this one's going to be somewhere in the 70s.
I think both teams are losing this one just for morale. It's like it's one of those. Whoever wins is not going to feel good about it. But yeah, it would be funny if Mmcgrath wins though, because they're in they're 2-1, but they have.
But they're at 6.
The 4th least points in the league. So it would be funny if they win. But yeah, what can you do? It's all week to week matchup, and it's kind of like you might be playing the easy teams now, but it's going to get harder. So it usually evens out, but we'll see. Who knows? Maybe these teams start doing really good. Next matchup, only 2 more.
Last matchup, last but not least.
Is it the last? Did we? No, we had 2 more. 2 more.
Never mind.
KMoneyTheRichOG versus Pawninq. That one's really high projected, and they're very even, so this one could be really close. I think Pawninq's team is probably gonna win this one.
Yeah,
but it's hard to know for sure.
They have the Dolphins running back projected 17 points. That's kind of, that's.
Yeah, but also Neighbors is
seems so high to me.
Yeah.
Lamb is projected 19, which you could definitely get, but that's just such a high projection.
Yeah, I could see Neighbors getting a lot more though, so that's the only thing I guess. So I guess maybe the projection is pretty close. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe I do favor K Money, the richest team, because Godwin and Nico have been really good. So, and Jefferson.
Yeah,
So,
I think K Money's team's gonna. I can see them getting in like the 130s this week, honestly, and like really steamrolling. I think they have
Pawninq.
some good matchups.
Yeah.
They have Stroud and the wide receiver Collins. They're playing Jacksonville, like,
That's true.
and then you have Jefferson playing against Green Bay. Like that's pretty good for them.
Yeah. And Godwin.
Godwin,
Against the
I mean,
Eagles.
Phil, yeah. So
Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
I think they have some pretty good matchups, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of those players that have some lower projections still, like, I mean, they could easily get like 20, 25 points, right? And
Yeah.
that adds up, and I can see them scoring the 130s or even more.
That's true. I mean, I guess the only wild card really is Malik Neighbors, because I could see Neighbors getting 30 points against Dallas too. But we'll know early. I mean, he has two
some
players playing
Thursday
Thursday,
games.
so
Yeah.
and I think those are like two of the most important ones. So we'll see. I guess we'll go into the last matchup, which I don't know how JennWeng is projected so low, but this is like the heavyweight title match. This is the two highest scoring teams, I believe. JennWeng versus RageAgainstWeirdos, and it's going to be a high scoring game probably. I don't know why JennWeng's team. Yeah, why is Jen's team? I guess Jennings is projected low now, Henry, but she should have some of the people coming back too. So, hopefully Brown's back. Hopefully Debo's
That is
back.
That is like a low projected. I mean, honestly, you can't expect Jennings to get 49 points again, but I think 7 is kind of low after what they pulled in last week.
Yeah.
I'd expect more of a projection around like 11 or 12, and then to go either way from there. They can easily get 5 points. They can easily get like 15 to 20, right? So
Yeah. It would be funny if by the time I like edit this, the projections change. So
change drastically.
yeah, like it's gonna like be 11 tomorrow, and by the time I take the screenshot, it's already not 7. But as we're recording this, Jennings is projected 7.
7.02.
Yeah, so a little low, at least I think, and you think too. So I think this game's gonna be really close because I don't like Mahomes this year. So I don't think Mahomes will get 20 points, and then Kamara might have a hard matchup. I don't know. We'll see.
They have Jamar Chase and Devontae Adams. Like, that's such a good wide receiver core right there.
And James Cook too. Like, James Cook is like, he's cooking. But yeah, I guess that's the league. I guess we covered everything. That was a fun episode. Thanks for
covered
joining
so
me.
much.
We did so much. It may have taken a little longer than expected, but hey, now we kind of know it's going to be like an hour, so won't keep you up too much longer. Thank you for joining me.
It's just spitting all those facts,
Oh, it was all the facts. It was just such good facts. We had to keep it running, But yeah, thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed. And feel free to reach out if you want to join the podcast and talk trash to Troy after you beat him next week. All right.
Wow.
Peace.
Bye.